So I had been kind of interested in this show for a while, but then recently it came on Netflix, and I was like, oh, this is my chance to check the show out, see what it's all about. So this show, Zac and Mia, they both meet in a hospital because they're both sick and they have cancer. So that's how they meet, but they are complete opposites. Zac is more of a nice guy, very friendly, has his family with him. Mia is more of like a mean, popular girl, like that type. But when she goes into the hospital, there's no one there for her. So they kind of have like they have different personalities, and how their treatment is going is different as well. Because Zac has all the support and Mia has none. So when they first meet, Zac doesn't really know who she is. He just knows someone moved into the room next door to him. And then she starts blasting music. And he's like, who is this girl? I mean, who is this person? And then he tells her to shut her music off. He sees her and he's like, she's the one. She's the one I want to spend the rest of my life with. Like instant love. So he wants to get to know her. He has a crush on her and things like that. And he feels it right away. She probably doesn't. It doesn't look like she feels it on the other hand. I feel like that's a very vague description, but that's basically Zac and Mia. These two teenagers in high school end up with cancer and they meet each other in the hospital. And they get to know each other and they get to bond, having cancer, but not the same type of cancer. They definitely have conflicts because they are different. They see the world differently and the people around them are definitely different. And they both want to live normal teenage lives, but they can't. They have this sickness with them. This show is 2 seasons. It's currently on Netflix if you want to go check it out. But I will delve more into spoilers. This is definitely like a high school teen show. So if you're not into that, maybe this isn't the show for you. It's cute, but I'm going to go more into spoilers, more into the show. Feel free to stick around if you want, but if not, you can guys come back later after you watch the show. Okay, let's delve more into this TV show, can we? So as I said before, Zac and Mia both have cancer. Zac, I don't remember the exact name of his cancer, but for he needs to stay in quarantine, for a certain amount of time. And then they would test him again to see if he's okay to go home. But he can't leave his room. He needs to stay in his room. And only, I believe, pre-approved guests can come see him just to make sure that he stays healthy and he doesn't get sick. Because if he gets like a common cold or anything, that is very dangerous for him. Mia, we know that she has a cancer in her leg. And hers is definitely not as serious as Zac's. So she has a higher chance of surviving from this cancer. And probably won't really affect her leg too much. Like I said, Zac sees her and he's like, who is this beautiful girl? He starts, daydreaming like, oh, this is the girl I want to get to know. I want to be my girlfriend, things like that. Mia does not really see him like that. She's like, oh, this is kid next door. And she has a boyfriend as well. Zac really isn't on her brain in a romantic way. Another big difference about Zac and Mia is that Zac, his whole family, and he has friends that come visit him every day. For Mia, no one has come visit her. She basically didn't want anyone to know she had cancer. She didn't really want to be known as the sick girl. So she kind of told everyone, oh, I'm going on a retreat. I'm going to like a spa. I believe it was maybe an acting camp. She made up some type of excuse to tell people, oh, I'm just going to be away on this extravagant place. Like, wish me well. So no one knows she has cancer. She hasn't told anyone. No one's come to visit her at the hospital. So right now she's going through everything alone. And Zac sees that and he knows how hard chemo can be and no one should have to go through that alone. So he's kind of there for her and as a friend and as a resource because he wants her to be okay. He doesn't want her to be alone. He really just tried to be a friend. And this girl can be rude, but he's still there. So there's a lot of things going on in their personal lives that also cause some drama. Let's start with Mia. So she's going through all this alone, but she kind of wants to see her boyfriend, and he's not really responding to her texts, and so she's really upset about it, which I would be too, because you're in a hospital, you're going through something serious, and you're asking someone, can you come see me, I miss you, and they're not even responding to your text. It's jerk. So she's sending texts, he's not responding, she's getting really, really upset. It turns out he is cheating on her with her best friend. Yeah, or her so-called best friend. And then when she finds out, she's like, I think he's cheating on me, because she tells Zac this. So when he comes to visit her, she kind of has an inkling that he's seeing her best friend, just like the way he's acting and like the way he's talking about it. And so she like kind of already knows. And I felt so bad for her. She's like, these two people she trusted, and she's going through something, and then this happens. In Zac's life, his family comes to visit him. He has a twin sister, and he's an older brother. Yeah, he has this friend who also had cancer, and he comes to visit him. And his friend's like really wants to go on this trip and go surfing all over. And he comes to Zac. He's like, Zac, what do you think I should do? They said they found something, and they want to try and take it out. But I know you know all the stats, and you would never lie to me. What do you think my chances are? Do you think I should go on this trip? Do you think I should get the surgery? Like, let me know. And Zac, when he tells Zac the type of cancer and what they want to do, Zac sees that his chances are very low, and he wants to tell them, like, live your best days now, like go on that trip, have the best time with the last days of your life. But he doesn't tell him that. He's like, no, you should totally get the surgery. And he's like, really? He's like, yeah, I get it. And he's like, okay, dude, thanks. So his friend decides to go get the surgery, and he doesn't make it out of surgery. And then Zac finds out, and he's devastated, and he feels like it's all his fault because he told this dude to get the surgery, and he didn't, and now he's dead. So I feel like really bad for Zac in that point, because he lost someone close to him. He lost a friend, and he really wanted his friend to enjoy his last days, but because he told him to get the surgery, now he's gone. So that's something that Zac going through, and that's really sad for him. There is a point when Zac and Mia sneak off together, and I guess Mia didn't know about Zac's condition. Like, she doesn't really know a whole lot about cancer or his type of cancer at all. She's like, come on, let's do something, let's be spontaneous. He's like, I can be spontaneous. And so he leaves his room. He's not supposed to. And they go and they, just hang out around the hospital, but he's not supposed to do that because he's not supposed to leave his room. And so they're hanging out and they're having a good time, and then they start arguing because he's like, why won't you tell anyone that you have cancer? And she's like, I'm not like you, I don't have to scream it to the world, whatever. He's like, no, you don't have to, but you're lying about it. You're pretending you're somewhere else when you're actually not. Like, why are you doing that? So they start arguing over that, and she gets up and leaves. And by the time she's leaving, his sister finds them, and she's like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to leave your room. And he's like, I'm fine. But then he starts coughing, and he gets sick as time goes on, and he needs to be under even more care. His like condition starts getting worse, so he has to go in a different area and get more care until he like comes back to it. So Zac's really sick. His parents are both there, and we don't really see them until he gets significantly sick like this. We have only seen the brother and the sister, and while they're waiting for Zac to see if his condition improves, the daughter and the son are kind of like upset at their parents. They're like, you're never here. He needs us. We're the only ones coming here. Very valid points as the kids make. They're like, we're always here, but you need to be here for him. So that was a little drama scene. And then there was a scene with Mia. She's like outside the door of Zac's room. She's like, what's going on? And she's like freaking out and crying and all this stuff. Honestly, I didn't even know she liked him that much until that moment, because she was being very emotional. So I'm like, maybe she had a better bond with him than I thought she had. I didn't know she'd be that upset over it, because I don't know, she didn't seem like she was too interested in him. But yeah, finally Zac comes to it, and he learns of the death of his friend. The funeral soon, but since he got sick, he can't leave his room again. He needs to start his quarantine over, and he's really upset about it because he was really close with this guy, and he wants to go to his funeral. And so while everyone's at the funeral, Mia comes in his room and is like, we're going to the funeral. He's like, what? She's like, come on, I'm taking you to the funeral. We're gonna go. And so he's like so happy that someone's taken him to the funeral. So they both go to the funeral, and he's there to say his final goodbyes to his friend, which I thought was super sweet. This is one of the first times we see Mia being selfless, and she's thinking of him. Even though she did put his life in danger last time, she knows this is important to him, and he needs to go, and he really wants to go. Do the siblings see them? Yes. But he's like, he doesn't really care because he wants to say goodbye to his friend. So that was one thing I thought was super duper cute. So Mia has to get a surgery for her cancer. The chemo isn't working like they had hoped. So they're going to do surgery to try to remove what they need to out of her leg. And her mom ends up coming as well. And the way she painted a picture of her mom is like not what we kind of see. She like hates her mom. She thinks her mom hates her. But when her mom comes to the hospital, I imagined her mom to be like some rich, snobby woman. But she doesn't seem like that. She seems like she does care for her daughter. It's just that they don't communicate well. This is what I got from the show. I could be wrong, but that's what I got. It just seems like they don't see eye to eye. Her mom had her when she was young, and she feels like her mom hates her because she ruined her life. When I'm watching the show, it doesn't seem like her mom feels that way, but I feel like they just can't connect, or maybe there's some point they don't see eye to eye anymore, but her mom does want to be there for her in this instant. So yeah, we see her mom there, and then she has to go into surgery, and then she comes out of surgery, and it looks like she has to lose her leg. So she loses part of her leg from kind of like the knee down, loses the part of her left leg, I believe, because the cancer was worse than they had thought and they had to remove it for her to survive. And she was upset because she didn't think she would have to lose her leg. She asked Zac before she went to surgery. She's like, what do you think? He's like, you're going to be fine. You're going to beat it. You're going to be okay. And when she lost her leg, she was mad at him because she was like, you told me I was going to be okay. Now I don't have a leg. She didn't want to lose her leg, and now she lost her leg. Things are going to be different. She has to learn how to do things differently now. So I did feel very bad for her in that sense. So as of right now, her and Zac aren't really talking. She's really mad at him because of the situation she's in, and she's just really upset because of everything. So Mia really wants to go to prom, and she has this beautiful dress. She wants to go with her boyfriend and everything. Well, now that she has no boyfriend, that changed, but she really was looking forward to coming back and being able to go to prom and like dance and be back at school and everything normal with her dress and everything. Well, things changed. Now her leg is gone, and she's really upset about that. And she's like, I don't even want to go anymore. Zac decides to use his Make-A-Wish on the prom for Mia. And first of all, I was like, my first thought was like, really, dude, you're gonna use your Make-A-Wish to give this girl a prom? But then when I saw the scene, I was like, okay, I'm here for it. So they kind of trick Mia into like getting ready for prom. Her nurse is like, oh, let's get you dolled up and everything. And she's like, no, I really don't want to. He's like, no, I want to see what you look like in your dress. I think it'd be so cute. Like, you should be able to wear your dress at least one time. Let's just see it all together. It'd be super cute. And so she gets dressed, she puts on makeup, and he's like, wow, you look so good. He's like, let's look. And he takes her somewhere. She's like, where are we going? And then they turn the hallway and they see like the hallway's done and it's all cute. And then we see Zac in a suit comes out the other end of the hallway, and he has like a flower, I think. Y'all, when I say I literally fell out because this scene was so cute. Like the whole rest of the show, yeah, it was good. And some of the acting was okay. But when I saw this scene, I was like, this is so romantic. I can't. And like she was just sitting in her little wheelchair, and I was like, I literally would have okay, we're in love, whatever. Cause that was just such a grand gesture, y'all. Such a grand gesture. Like they did a first dance and things like that, and it was just so cute. And like they're finally together and all this. It was adorable, and I loved it. Yeah, that was my favorite scene of, I think, the entire show. So yeah, by the end of season 1, we see that Zac and Mia are together. Mia no longer has her leg. Zac made it through quarantine, and he was free to go home, and he no longer has to be at the hospital. So that's where we are. A happy ending to a first season. In season 2, we see Mia and Zac together, and now their relationship's kind of different because he's no longer in the hospital, but she still is. And so he keeps coming back to the hospital, and he does mention it's like kind of weird, because he's not there for him, he's there for her. But it's cute, their relationship is different, and Mia sees that too. He's just always here, and she feels bad for bringing him back to the hospital, but like he loves her, so he does it for her. And he's trying to get back to normal life. So he's thinking he can go back to school, but he really can't. Even though he's no longer in the hospital, he still has to be careful. And so they said like the school would be too many people, too many contact, too many germs. So he has to like kind of stay home and be homeschooled. He wanted to learn how to surf for his friend because his friend liked surfing, the one that passed. And they said that being on the beach in the ocean and surfing would be bad for him as well. So he can't do that. So his life isn't normal how he wanted it to be. Yes, he's out of the hospital, but his life is still different. He still has to deal with with his cancer that he had. So I do feel bad for Zac in that sense, because he really thought he was going to go back to what his life used to be. And then for Mia, she finally gets out the hospital and she has to do physical therapy. Let me tell you, so she lives in her mom's house for like a little bit, and she's like, I just can't do it. I can't be here with her new family. And then Zac's like, oh, you can live with me. His family lets her live with them. So in their relationship currently, they both seem good, like they're doing great. But then, eventually they get into more arguments, and their relationship is not as strong as it once was. Zac starts kind of lying to Mia. He says he starts surfing and doing things like that when he's not supposed to. And he knows she would yell at him, but he doesn't tell her. He doesn't tell anyone in his family. And so he was supposed to pick her up for physical therapy, and he forgot because he was surfing. And so she's just waiting there. Her physical therapist is like, are you okay? What's going on? She's like, my boyfriend's supposed to pick me up, but he's not here. So finally he came, but she's like really upset. She's like, where have you been? Like, what are you doing? Because he was like really late. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I feel really bad about it. She's like, no, it's fine. She's dealing with trying to learn how to walk again. And so she's doing her own thing, and she feels like she can't talk to Zac about it. And there's a point where she goes to like a support group. And when she goes in there, she sees Zac's sister. And they're like, because they don't really like each other. And they're like, what are you doing here? And the sister's like, just because I don't have cancer doesn't mean Zac was the only one going through it. So there were people with cancer who were going through it, and what they had to deal with on being there for that person, and how it takes a toll on a whole family and not just a person in the hospital. So they're both there sharing their experiences, sharing what they're dealing with. And they both go there every week. And Zac has no idea that either one of them is going to like a group like that. As Mia keeps going to her physical therapy, and when Zac will pick her up, he notices her physical therapist is like, I don't know, he's getting like a vibe of this dude flirting with her or like likes Mia. But Mia's not getting that vibe. She's like, just my physical therapist, like you're overreacting. But then there's one point her and Zac got in a fight. She decides to call her physical therapist. She's like, I'm so sorry, I don't know why I called you. And literally when she said that, I was like, yeah girl, I don't know why you call him either. You're just asking for trouble. And literally when he came, and I was just like, this just feels wrong, because I'm like, she's in high school and he's not, because he's a physical therapist, so he went to school and everything. And I was like, this grown man is over here with this high school girl. This is disgusting. And he even puts, like, there's one point he's like, oh, like he's like being there for her, and he puts his hand on her hand, and she's like, this is not what I thought this was. And literally when he did that, I just felt it was just disgusting. I was like, this is so weird. I don't like this, because this is a grown man with a high school girl. And I was like, nope, not loving it. And Zac is like really sad. He's going through some stuff, because he's just going through a lot right now. He wants to go surfing, and his brother's like, no, I'm gonna stop you. And his brother are in a fight. His brother's not able to stop him, so he goes to the beach and he starts surfing, and he ends up getting hurt. Thank goodness his family found him. And so they're calling Mia. Mia's like, oh, sorry, I gotta go. And she gets to the hospital, and they're like, where were you? Why was he, like, we're like calling you, where were you? It's just a hot mess. Zac's a hot mess. Mia's a hot mess. They're both going through a lot of things, and they really haven't communicated what they're going through to each other. So Mia decides to break up with Zac. They're not good for each other right now. They need to take a break. And Zac really wants to, he doesn't want to take a break. He really wants to be with her, but he says to give her space. Towards the end of the season, we see Zac and Mia like being friends. They're still you can still see they miss each other, and they probably want to get back together. But I believe Mia will be leaving and moving out of the house soon. They're having like a little goodbye party, but they're gonna miss each other. But at the end of season 2, She go to Zac's room, and bam, they kiss and they make up and they're back together again. And that's how it ends. Yes, guys. It ends like that. So, kind of like a cliffhanger, I guess. Not like, I feel like it's an okay ending, but the show only has 2 seasons. And it got canceled after season 2. So, unfortunately, we don't get to see what happens to Zac and Mia in the future. But you guys can all imagine, But overall, I think the show was pretty good. It's definitely more of a teen show, more of a juvenile, like a Disney Channel-esque type show. But I think it was kind of cute. But that romantic moment with the prom, I thought that was so cute. But I was like, okay. But there were other moments I was like, okay. Acting wasn't the absolute best, but it was a decent watch. I would give this show 3 stars. I thought it was decent. I would definitely recommend this to people. I thought it was cute. Only has 2 seasons, unfortunately, but I thought overall it's a decent show. So yeah, I've definitely rate this one 3 stars. Like, good average show. As I said before, if you're interested in Zac and Mia, you can go catch the 2 seasons on Netflix currently. I thought the show was good. I definitely wanted to see more, and I kept watching it. It kept my interest enough that I wanted to keep watching it. I do wish it had another season where I could follow Zac and Mia's story more. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have seen Zac and Mia, what did you guys think of the show? Did you like it? Did you not like it? I will link my website below if you guys want to check out more blog posts. I have more TV content down there. And until next time, bye.